Hello, everyone. Welcome to another fun-filled edition of Small Biz Breakdown. My name is Brent Leary, and I will introduce you to the other breakdowners. Really doesn't sound too good. We'll just move it along. It's one of those days, folks. It is Friday. It is actually kind of nice here in Atlanta. It's 73 degrees and all that. But I don't know. I feel a little out of sorts or something. I don't know what's going on. Let me see. Let me ask Leland. Maybe he can help me out. Leland, what's going on, man?
Hey Brent, good to be here. I gotta say your introduction kind of had a Mr. Rogers feel to it. Ready to talk about our feelings?
No, we're not. Anyway, we'll move on because once again, we are joined by somebody who is glad to say that they're from the heartland. Not throwing any shade or anything, anybody. But we have Pierre all the way from Gary, Indiana.
Good morning. Good morning.
Is it a really good morning? Are you just saying that, or?
Well, I haven't broken because I'm a breakdowner. I should be able to break that down, but I haven't broken it down yet. So I will.
Maybe a little too early in the day for the breakdown. So we'll just leave it there because we got to travel a little further east to the rock and roll heartland. I had to throw in heartland anyway, but it's magical, mystical Medina. And it is the one and only Madam Mike Dropper herself. There's so many M's in this, but luckily her name is Evena Taylor. Hey, Evena. We can't hear you.
Sorry. Good to see everyone again.
Is it really good to see us, Evena? Is it really?
It really is. For me,
right.
it really. I lead a lonesome life, so when I see you all, it is a pleasure.
A lonesome life. Okay, I don't know if I believe that.
Am I fuzzy? I feel like I'm fuzzy.
No, you're okay. You're looking good as usual.
I have to do the little. That's like a thing now. With me.
That's a thing. You mic drops, fuzziness, that whatever. All right, let's keep it moving. We're going further east to our nation's capital, where absolutely positively nothing is happening as usual. But the one thing that does happen is the smile on this man's face. Shashi Belmkanda.
Hey everybody, Brent, Leland, Pierre, Ivana. I'm not Ramon Ray, and I will get a word in this time because he's unfortunately or fortunately not joining us today.
That was quite the opening statement there, Shashi. I don't know where to go after that. I guess I'll just go, to last and certainly least. Is that really wrong for me to say? I mean, I feel a little bad about saying it. Not bad enough to not ever say it again, but yeah, it's a little touch of madness. He is the cold one. Some call him the bold one. I have to say, when you reach a certain age, you kind of get called the old one too. He is John Colder Ice Lawson, folks.
Oh.
Wake up, sir. Where's your cup of coffee?
Not coffee.
What is it? Rum?
It's vodka.
Oh, vodka.
I think we all need an adult beverage. We should start doing that.
Even where's your 40? Even where is your 40 at? You need the 40s out here. All right.
Do a special edition. Small biz or a breakdown while drunk.
Yeah.
I'm hammered.
I'll tell you what, that is a thing. There was a guy I used to watch who had a YouTube channel, and what he would do is do an analysis of your website, but he would be drunk. And people paid for this. And the whole point of it was like, I don't understand why this button is here. Like, it's just like the idea is that you should be able to get through your website and purchase something even when drunk.
And people paid this dude to get drunk and talk stuff about their websites.
Exactly. And to the point where he was like, because of the nature of this work, he says, I'm only doing this, I don't know if it was like once a month or something like that. So if you wanted him to review your website while drunk, you had to get in line
You had to get in line.
and pay.
This world just don't make no damn sense, does it? I mean, you know, I wish I had known about that line of work. Because
there's a business out there for everybody.
is there a degree, a corresponding course or something you could take to do that? Because I'd certainly see now. If he was coaching folks on that, I might actually sign up for that coaching. You know, other than that, no, I don't do the coaches. But drunk website, you know, help. Yeah, I'm up for that. Anyway, let's see. Anything happen this week? I don't know why I always laugh when I say that, because every week is the same. So I noticed, Leland, you put in there a link to, I think it was the New York Fed chief guy, not the chief, but the New York Fed, saying that he might be up for a little more interest rate decreases. You know, he might be good with that. But then I have to counter with the Boston Fed saying not so fast. We might have to slow it down a little bit. We might December. We might not, and that's what really freaked out the markets the other day, because it's been a week of market freakouts. But the one that really surprised me was, you know, we're all living in this AI bubble, right? And the one company that the whole world turns to when it comes to trying to figure out, is this AI stuff a hoax, fake news? Or should I say fake news? No, that didn't sound right. Fake news, or is it legit? Is it real? Is NVIDIA. So everybody was just freaking out. Markets going up and down all week long. Then what is it? Wednesday night after the bell, everybody was waiting with bated breath. Some of that bated breath was probably bad breath. Let's face it. It does happen sometimes. But when the numbers came out, everybody was like blown away. You couldn't even find anything bad that was in the not only the earnings report, but the call afterwards. Everything was going up after hours. Like, man, things are going crazy. Thursday morning they opened up, it was up like 500 or 600 points or something like that. And then right around noontime, I couldn't believe it, because I was feeling pretty good. I was like, oh, damn, this is really great. Then I think the news came out about the jobs report, and it was actually way better than expected. And then again, I was like, oh, man, this is great. Everything's going to keep going up. And then that Boston Fed person, I think her last name is Williams, she said, well, yeah, maybe we don't have to lower the interest rates right now. We're still kind of And just like that, from 10:30 in the morning on Thursday, we went down 900 points by 12:30. 900 point drop in 2 hours. And we've kind of been dropping ever since, at least on NASDAQ. Last time I looked, NASDAQ was still down again. So anyway, when you have the best like AI company killing it, you would think that would alleviate some of the AI bubble fears, but apparently not, because then other fears of maybe we shouldn't lower interest rates, because if job market is growing that fast, maybe we shouldn't. But then again, I go to the market again and my food is costing me more, even more. What are we to do? Where are we to go with this? How do we know where we stand financially? And what does that make you guys feel like on this particular day at 12:11 East Coast time? Whoever wants to go.
We have a 300 million versions of the economy. And what I mean by that is whatever you're feeling personally is your economy. the news is so confusing. Everybody, in fact, yesterday I was at a conference with Epicor where they were talking about building materials and everything. And the message from one of the speakers was start focusing on areas where the income levels are high, because those are the people who are spending, and the other areas they're not spending. And one of the things they said is, which I'm just repeating what the speaker said. Tax time come, people are going to get a bigger tax return because there's something in the bill that retrospectively, I'm not a tax consultant, please contact your financial advisor. But the whatever was in the bill will be retrospective for the whole year, meaning not when the bill was introduced. So which means that people are likely to spend whenever they get their returns. So the question was, how are you guys going to prepare for that? Canadian lumber not coming because they're not producing as much and not exporting much to the US. So it's like 6 different economies, I'm sure, on this call too. So that's my take.
There's a lot to unpack from what you just said. One of the things that I found interesting was that you got 2 feds with differing ideas, and that's odd. That is a really odd thing, and I like it. and the reason why is over the last I can't remember the stages. It's like 20 years, 30 years, or something like that. All of the feds have voted with the chairman, with a few exceptions, and by few I mean like 1 or 2. And to me, that goes: is there discourse? Is there people? Are people talking? Are people actually looking at the information, talking with each other, evaluating things really, really well? Or are they just all on autopilot and saying, well, if this guy says it's good, then it's good. If he says it's bad, it's bad. And so when I see discourse, I think they're talking, they're actually evaluating. There's more than just one person's opinion in the room. And so that kind of gives me a little bit more hope that we're getting a better answer than opposed to, well, everyone voted the same. That to me goes, unless the evidence is extremely strong. Like, if you get a jury and, every person votes the same way, then that means you got some really good evidence that it goes, that person is guilty or innocent. It's the same way in this way. I want to, if everyone's voting the same, I want to make sure that that information is concrete and then we're going in the right direction and it's good. But when you got discourse, it means that they're talking, and that's also good. So.
So you're on the fence.
I will tag John. He looks like he's got a lot to say on the subject.
I have nothing to add here on this. I don't know. I don't really care. It doesn't change my life one iota. I don't know. This is like sports for some people. I'm not following the team. Yeah.
Well, when you have a team like the Falcons that you follow, I totally
Exactly.
understand where
You
you're
turn
coming
the TV off.
from.
It's like, just turn the TV off. Just like, who cares?
So you're
There's
saying
other
that,
things going on in the world.
well,
that are
before we
way
get to
more
those other things, let's ask Ivana where she's
Yeah, where's
before we start traversing the galaxy. So
well, 2 things that I've been thinking about. One is Shashi talked about. The other big thing I'm thinking about that does impact every small business owner and leads into the other thing is cash flow.
Yeah.
Cash flow is the most important thing. Given that, where do you go for cash flow? The easy thing to say is sell to the people who have money. That's like a duh. The problem that I can't seem to wrap my head around is that there are, I'm going to be generous and say maybe 20% of the marketplace has money. The other 80% doesn't. And so I'm thinking like there's only so many people who could serve that 20%. There's only so many, in the world of small businesses, there are only so many accountants, so many landscapers, so many services, so many products, so many things. There are only so many. And then the jobs numbers, and I think Brent, somebody posted in our little chat about additional layoffs. And I think I even heard, was it Verizon?
I think that was Leland that posted about Verizon. Yeah.
Verizon. And then as I was driving along, I heard that Amazon, I don't know, do they need 600,000 fewer people? I don't know. Something's happening over there at a time where the busy season is happening. So now I'm like, okay, so all these people, the white collar people who are out of work, the most obvious thing you're going to do is like become a consultant. And again, sell to whom? Exactly. So that's what's been on my mind. I have no answers. For that, we're going to go to Pierre.
Ooh, what a nice segue.
Go on. Okay. I'm going to build a little bit on what Ivana said and also what Leyland brought up. I think it's, there may be some discourse going on because of the fact that we have an economy where we have different sectors acting weird, and not weird in a bad way, but sort of acting with certain things going on. They're reacting to the economy in a certain way. And it may be hard to get a big picture to decide, let's cut the interest rate by this much, or even raise the interest rate, let alone by how much. I think that part is the big challenge right now. I think I don't think it's just, at the same time, I'm curious on to Leyland's point about Discord. I think that maybe or discussion. There may be discussion going on, but it's what type of discussion that still needs to be hammered out a little bit. Which it just may be hard to see right now. Even when you look at Bitcoin going up and down, and we always know that Bitcoin, the digital currency, there's always this question of it doesn't really have a what is this intrinsic? People question whether there's an intrinsic value to set a bottom for. It's the fact that there's volatility and you're not sure what that volatility is telling you. It is, I think, part of the issue here. So we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Lauren, for hanging out with us, and sell to small businesses that still need your services. And small to mid-sized companies are what will save us.
Yep.
That's been the case normally, right? Like throughout the history of our economy, I guess it's what 70% of the spending is done by consumers, and what percentage of employment is done by small business is a pretty significant number. I don't have it right in front of me, but it always does feel like that. But does this feel any different than in years past? The situation we're in right now.
It does to me. It does.
Yeah.
To me.
Okay.
God,
expand, please.
obviously.
In what way? It might be obvious to you, but us mere mortals, we might not know. We want to know what you know.
I don't know. You guys freak me out a little bit. Y'all
Really?
just act like, it's like everything is so abnormal. And it's just like, oh, well, the things are going, and it's like, no, everything is effed up. And it's obviously effed up. And we keep seeing the numbers being effed up. They go up, they go down, sideways. We're going this way today. Tomorrow, no, we're going this way. We're going to release that. No, we're not. I mean, it's just as ridiculous. And the fact that we've gotten so used to stupidity that we can't even recognize that we're in it is so weird to me. It's very weird.
Has it never been like that? Has this always been the case where people were kind of ignorant of what was going on because of the chaos and the fluctuations? Or is it just now the fact that because we have all this technology and all this information at our disposal, like we've never had in the past, now we know how dumb it is? Or do you think it's always been like that?
I think we are very, I think we're pulled left and right. It's like
Literally, we are.
every week you come and you ask us, well, how you feeling this week? And and then you giggle because it's like, hey, there's nothing going on, but you laugh because you know there's so much going on, right? And
I
it's
think
like you
I
kind of
think
play it off.
I
It's
know
like
it
it's
from my
crazy out
perspective,
here.
but I've got to ask you guys because we don't all have the same thoughts and
I know
perspective.
y'all chill. Y'all are way too chill for me. I'm like, house on fire.
This is what we want. We've been waiting for you to do this. You usually just sit back there with your smug, imperious look, with your mug of coffee or whatever the hell's in it, saying, "Oh, I don't care." Now we know you really do care. Damn it!
Oh, I do care.
You're like the rest of us. You care. I feel better now. I don't know about you guys, but
Let it all out. Let it
little
all out.
rant.
Let your feelings just
let
flow.
it flow. Let it flow.
Ah,
My
I feel
husband
better.
said you got to rant every now and then. You got to let it out. And I said, no. Repression and suppression is the way to go.
Yeah, way to go for the heart attack or stroke.
Right?
Let
That
it
was
manifest
ugly.
into an aneurysm.
Yeah, right.
Hey, look, you've got Lauren freaking out too. So
No,
there it is. It's a good thing. We need to let it out every now and then.
you asked the question. Did you ask the question? What's different?
Yeah. What
You asked the question. What's different? Why?
do you
I
let
don't
me
know
let me
that
let me kind of frame it just to make sure I'm trying to get what I think is in my head over to you. Because we have so much information at our disposal now than we've ever had before. And we even have these tools that help us analyze it. We never had this kind of stuff here. So are we reacting differently because the situations are different, or because the technology and the information that we have allows us to think in ways we never were able to before?
Oh my God, I have so much meta. I have so
I bought some of their
many
stuff.
thoughts.
Yeah.
So many thoughts, right? First and foremost, this is probably historically not very different from other things that we have experienced, like 1929. Who knows? Maybe even the tulip bubble. Who knows, right? So personally, I believe that history absolutely repeats and it rhymes and all those things. So I
Raps.
don't
Yeah.
believe that this is so unique. All of us here in on this panel have lived through several massive market downturns and disruptions and so on and so forth. And I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this, because I was thinking, I went back as far as, let's say, I wasn't really impacted in 1987. My husband was impacted in 1987 because he had had some investments even that far back. I was not affected by that one. I was affected by the dot-com bubble. I had earned the very most amount of money. I was still young. I was in high risk. And then I had a corporate breakdown, did not move my money in time. And I lost like half of what I had saved in my highest earning years. And then so there was like the dot-com bubble, but think about that. That was like technology, right? I don't remember, maybe some of you guys do, I don't remember that other things were in disarray other than Y2K, right? Other than Y2K, other parts of our economy were not in a total disarray. And in 2008, when the housing bubble or the housing crash did its thing, that sort of felt kind of localized, right? They took these products. They created these, bad bundles and blah, blah, blah. It had to do with mortgages and so on and so forth. So, and that felt localized to me. What occurs as different right now is that everywhere I look, it feels chaotic. Bonds aren't behaving the way they're supposed to behave. AI and technology are doing their thing. You've got unemployment, you've got tariffs, you've got like the world economy. Like it feels like everywhere I look, I see something scary. And so that is the reason that I am freaking out. And that is what's in my head when I think, is this different? Now it feels like there are geysers going off everywhere, where before I didn't have that impression. What do you guys think? Is there any truth to what I just said?
I think of it a little differently. And I don't want to say not freaked out. Definitely want to say I would say concerned for long term, where I see things as where people are doing something short term that is I wouldn't call it short term, that is okay, but not really like a great long term. Like let's take, for example, we talk about small business. Let's say that small to medium construction market is doing well, but their income may be coming from data centers where people are kind of pushing back on those. Yes, they may be building housing, but it's not really housing that's necessary. It might be housing for a large corporate entity rather than something that might be solving the housing problem. I think what's happening is that I think we're seeing things that are historic, but we're questioning. Yes, this may be like the Hail Mary of of plays. The first time that, let's say, the NFL throwing all these Hail Marys, but everyone knows that if you're a quarterback, it's a mixture of plays that wins you the game, basically. And I think what we're seeing is all these these certain types of plays that look okay. Yes, it looks like football. Yes, there are people catching the ball and moving forward, but you don't get a feel that it's moving forward for something strategic. I think even for Bitcoin, that's a terrific example of there's all this volatility, but no one can really name off why, except for their speculation of it, of why. There was something I was reading that was talking about the 4-year pattern, that 4 years is supposed to be volatility. Well, that's not how forecasts really are supposed to be. And it doesn't mean you get to this particular period and bam, automatically there should be something happening. I just think we have a hard time figuring out from a strategic standpoint what these things mean, and I think that's where I think internally we feel that in terms of a panic or something that we should be, this is something there's something we need to be dealing with, basically. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, this is good. And shout out to Lauren, because she is blowing up the comments. One thing I wanted to touch on and see if you agree with Lauren. We are reacting to all this stuff because people are scared of technology instead of embracing it. Traditionally we do, when new technology comes out, we're at least on the consumer side, enterprise, there's some layers that go into that, but we are the ones that are the first to embrace it and use it. It's like, you think about mobile phones and all the different things that people were doing with it that Steve Jobs didn't even know, wasn't even thinking about, but it was because consumers embrace and try to do all these things. Are we at a point where the AI is more being afraid of it versus really boldly going out and using it? Now, I'm talking to you guys who are all inside the bubble. But
but I don't find that AI is something people are afraid of. I mean, if you look at the numbers, this was the fastest moving technology acceptance of any technology. So I don't see that necessarily. People are not afraid of it. They use it. They don't know what it's going to do or where it's go. But I don't see people like, man, I don't touch that stuff. I don't feel that like I felt with other technology. I really feel people are embracing it.
What was it? Another technology that you saw? Oh my God, people were like, "Oh, I can't use this."
Oh, social media. I remember when social media first started, I was actually at an all CEO closed conference with 25 CEOs of companies. They were on boards, and I called it the good old boy club. And I was slated to do a presentation on social media. And they were like, no, that's a fad. That'll never go anywhere, blah, blah, blah.
That's for kids.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
you know,
And
especially
I'm
with
like, those
video.
kids are going to be your customers and managers, like in the next 5
And
years.
your bosses.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to point out, it's like we've had, you know, social media in the past, like Friendster, and you know, there, you know, and MySpace, and they, you could look back and you can say there has been this kind of thing before, and it's failed. So why should I invest so much time and effort and money into something that in the past has failed? And I know that, you know, with like the advent of like the iPhone, all of a sudden social media became much more accessible. And I think that that right there, when you have social media in your pocket and you can just pull it out and you can just flip through things, that became, I think, the kind of catalyst for kind of it exploding a little bit. And you could share pictures easily instead of having to upload them on your computer.
There's something that John said, which I think I'd like to underline again, is everybody is using AI, but they don't know what to do with it in a form yet,
Yeah.
right? And there's a lot of confusion whether like AI is Chat GPT or not. Like again, yesterday at the conference, one of the examples, rural area, not very forward. This chain of shops caters to the local population who come in, buy in cash or check. They don't use cards, no computers, so no online business and things like that. The advice there was like, you probably need, instead of customer facing AI tools, you probably need AI for your internal like analysis and predicting of business. So I think the use case for AI is large and varied. When people don't understand something, they do fear it. Like they hear about the hype where you know, it's going to replace everybody. It's doing, everybody need to work only for 3 days a week and get the same salary and, you know, enjoy life. Seems utopian, right? And
Haven't we seen that before? I mean, that was like the
oh,
thing
yeah.
with computers, and that was the thing
yeah,
with TV, and that was the thing. That's what I'm saying. All of us are old enough to remember. And I think what's interesting is demographics are interesting in that people are living longer. So now we have demographically a larger population of people who have lived through a lot. And I've heard people, and you know, this sell-off is actually technological. It's algorithmic, right? Because people have like automations in
Yeah.
place. It says if the market does this, and then there's going to be this like sell-off, like really, really quickly. And so I think in some ways there have been comments about people not overreacting to things. And I think it's because there's a lot of us that are old enough and are like, you know, everybody chill. We must.
that's true. I wanted to comment on Lauren's comment. Our phones are already using AI. People just don't know. Something happened this morning. I posted a photo of a rose that is the only surviving rose in my garden. And I posted it on LinkedIn and said, AI was not used in this. Then I said, wait a minute. My Google Pixel has AI on the edge. So for focusing, it does use AI. So I said, like, except for the phone. You know, so we have been using AI for like, gosh, Waze, 10 years, Google, Amazon, all of them for 20 years. You just need to figure out what is your best use case to use it.
Autocomplete. How long have we had autocomplete?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is because I think this is a little bit of opinion of mine on technology. People adopt when they can kind of imagine what that technology is associated with. Like if you go way back to when the automobile was first introduced, people heard the term horseless carriage, which helped understand how that, because the car was a new technology at that time. You know, you fast forward to computers. There are some things with maybe physical computers. I remember IBM Aptiva. They made their shell black because they wanted people to associate the computer with home electronics, a stereo, TV, that type of thing. So that way people can kind of imagine the use case for it a little bit better. I think with AI, I think, you know, ever since we've had businesses built on platforms, think Uber, for example, Amazon, obviously. We don't physically see anything except for maybe for Amazon, the big data centers and the warehouses, basically. But you don't physically see a store with a certain shape to it. I think for AI, the big challenge is that there's a benefit, but it's statistical. It's more it's in the cloud, so there's it's what the person experienced. And I think that's a tougher. I'm not saying that makes it easier for people, but I think at a certain level it makes it tougher sometimes to from a branding standpoint to kind of give people the what is it that this thing does in a simple manner, so that even the lay person can kind of get the idea. If I said Corvette, a person who anyone can understands that's a sports car. They don't need to know that there's a 5.5 liter V8 underneath the hood. So they need things that they can reference. I think that's where the AI anxiety comes in a little bit. We don't have our frame of reference is not as solid as it has been with other technologies historically.
See, when I look at Gen X, Z versus the two, the way people use it is completely different, But like Gen Z, they don't look at it is a personal tool that they use in their personal lives all the time. If they want to create a recipe, they take pictures of the food and create a recipe. If they are doing their workout for the week, AI is writing the workout for them. If they're dealing with their personal finance, they're using AI. They use AI all the time. So this idea that people are scared of AI, not the ones coming up, maybe the other ones, the Gen Xers are, but Gen Z is 100% in on AI. They use it all the time. Matter of fact, I find them using it, and I'm like, why do you go there first?
Yeah.
It's like that's their go-to at this point. And I think it's going to get more and more like that. And the approach is not going to be, top down. We're not waiting on some, AI gods to come and give us this playbook on how to use, just like we did with, uh, uh, shoot, I just lost my thought. Whatever, Facebook and all that, and somebody didn't teach us how to use it. It was once the users got it in their hands, then it's like, okay, they directed how it was going to be. And I just think that's happening with AI as well. And you're going to start seeing it bubble up from the bottom up versus top down.
I'm seeing it. I am seeing it, and I had a thought about it, which is so my son is a Gen Z, and he uses AI, and the way he uses it. Now, don't even laugh about this because I laugh about it already.
Now, see, you make me want to laugh immediately.
Right. I'm already
I want you ready to. My son is heavy into Dungeons and Dragons, but it's all online. He's with his college friends, right? And he uses AI. They have literally, it's shifted the bottleneck. This is what AI has done. If I'm in manufacturing, right? So I think in terms of like how does activity flow? And it's moved this bottleneck. And I love that description because instead of spending time, let's say, painting figurines and doing things like manually, right? AI is there to convert whatever is in your head, this creative thing you have in your head, creates it, right? So he is so that bottleneck has shifted from sitting in front of a computer, let's say, and writing out a story and creating these things to where it's shifted. And now their whatever campaigns or whatever it is that they do is 10x more complex. They are creating Game of Thrones like character growth and intersection and what if scenarios. It kind of, John, to your point with AI helping you create, instead of just creating the ad, creating that A/B testing, right? So instead of wasting all this time coming up with permutations, you funnel your creativity into bigger thoughts, more complex thoughts. What if this? What if that? And I am watching my son create things that would have taken months upon months upon months in like minutes. And yet still spending hours and hours and hours on this thing, but it's not on the menial activity. It's on this higher level strategic type thinking. I mean, that's a mundane example, but I think we think of it in terms of these bottlenecks. Where is it? And then now the bottleneck has moved to higher level thinking, strategic thinking, and so on and so forth, rather than like, instead of just spending 20 hours writing a marketing plan or 20, writing the marketing plan is not the thing. It's coming up with that strategy that's going to work. It's coming up with the mix of tactics that are going to work and convert. And if that doesn't work, how quickly can we shift into something else? So I think it's really exciting, to your point, John, about what the generations are doing. And Lauren, if you've got some thoughts or experiences, I'd love to hear them.
But before we do that, Shashi is about to roll. So any last thoughts, parting words, Mr. Smile?
No, I think it was a very interesting discussion. I'm glad John got it off his chest.
All that fronting isn't good for you, I tell you. It really
And I
isn't.
think Shashi has a new name, Mr. Smile. I like it.
Okay.
Hashtag Mr. Smile.
Yeah, actually, one last thought that I heard yesterday was a lot of businesses are recruiting people from fast food places because whoever can perform well under pressure, smiling despite like having a big queue and everything else.
Nice.
So they had examples of how these businesses had, hey, we went and recruited this person for customer success because we already know they're doing a good job. With that, thanks everyone. Have a happy Thanksgiving, actually.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you, Shashi.
Thanks. Bye.
All righty. This has been really interesting. I don't know if I want to throw a monkey wrench into this one. But that's kind of what I do. So what the hell, you know? Coming on the heels of all that's going on and the incessant, and I guess I'm more keyed into this than the average person, just the incessant discussion around, are we in an AI bubble? Is it about the bursts? Are we going to make it through? I do a show called CRM Players on Thursdays, and we have a monthly segment with a gentleman by the name of Dr. Michael Wu, who has been our go-to AI person since like the past 18 years. So well before everybody got on board with the AI stuff and all that. This guy, has his PhD in that area. And so we did a show, we call it Taking the Lid Off of AI segment, because he wears a really cool Kango hat. So that's why. So for those of you who don't know what a Kango, I'll just Google it, or I don't know, AI it, or whatever you want to call it. All right. So this has been a very weird week when it comes to AI in the bubble, because what I was talking about with NVIDIA, killer earnings. Everybody just hanging. I mean, I'm watching CNBC and they got like a close down till NVIDIA, like countdown on the day they do their earnings. I've never seen them do that with any other company like this. So everybody's watching this and they just blew it away. I mean, complete every metric you could think of. Great earnings potential going forward. Great kind of they're raising their estimates, all this kind of stuff. You couldn't really ask for a better earnings, and everybody looks at this as the kind of the poster child for AI health. And because they blew it out, people are thinking, "Oh yeah, this is great. We're no more talking the bubble, at least not in the near future." The next day, of course, everything goes to hell. So you can't even count on that because there's so much fear and uncertainty around is this AI stuff, all this money that we've been talking about over the last several weeks. You know, is it going to fall in? Are we going to lose all our money? Are these companies not going to be able to pay for all this stuff? Do they even have the cash? As even had talked about, you know, cash on hand. One company got killed because they were saying they're going to buy all this stuff, but they have to debt finance their stock. Get crazy, but the overall market just went to hell. Even with this beacon of AI goodness, I don't know where I came up with that. As I see John's eyes immediately shoot up, you know, like, what is this guy talking about? But anyway, I say all that because this conversation I had yesterday, we had yesterday with Michael Will, he actually explained it in a way I didn't think you could possibly explain this stuff. And we went back to World War II when Ford was called on by the government to make tanks and use their manufacturing might to help the war effort. And he basically said, look, we're in a AI arms race. It's kind of similar to the atomic bomb race in the 1940s during World War II. And at that time, the only thing that mattered was being first to get this technology and to be able to use it for, as we would say, for good, versus the Germans getting that technology and using it for what. So he's like, hey, look, there's all sorts of stuff that's going to be wrong with this AI stuff. We already are seeing some of the bad effects of it, but we have to push forward and put that at the forefront, because if these other guys get that technology and they do what they want to do with it, not only we're going to get the negative effects of the technology, but we're going to get that plus these folks and the motives that they want to get it for. So this economy is like a wartime economy where everything is going into this one thing, warts and all. And if we aren't the victors, then everybody else is going to lose outside of the bad guys. And he said this is what it feels like right now with this AI stuff. Nothing else matters. This money is flowing all around, you know, because everybody's trying to get their lead position. They don't care about the people that are getting laid off. They don't care about other stuff. They don't really care about the overall economy. We need to do what we need to do now just so that we win this big war. And once we win the war, then we can go back and look at how we can improve things. I never thought about this, but do you think, are we in the same kind of position now? We're not going to get bombs dropped. At least we hope we're not going to get bombs dropped from this AI war arms race. But does it feel like we're in that kind of economy versus the traditional economy where we look at all these sectors and we look at all of the metrics and we try to kind of balance everything out? Or does it feel like everything is being driven by getting the lead in AI? Because you look at the S&P 500, the top 10 companies, 8 of the top 8 companies are all around this stuff.
I don't think I think it's urgent, but I don't think the war analogy is a good one in some ways. The biggest problem is that when you go back and look, if you go back to World War II, we didn't have cars produced. I think it was 45, 46, and 47, if I remember the years correctly, because all the automakers were you know, everyone was geared around trying to get the U.S.
tanks, planes,
tanks and planes. But we had a catastrophic event with Pearl Harbor. That narrative is very simple to get the average person around. You can get someone motivated to be a Rosie Riveter if you know that, yeah, if I halfway pay attention to the newspapers at that time. Yes, I know Hawaii was bombed. Yes, the United States government was up in arms, and we declared war. We went off to war. Those sort of things are a little simpler. AI, going back to my earlier point about being nebulous and kind of being, you know, there's a cloud nature to it. I think the people who are speaking out for this understand the urgency, which I think that's understandable. But I think the problem is that there's still not this one thing that you could point to and say, this is the thing that we're going to be fighting against. They're fighting against a prediction, which is a little different. And it's hard to get people motivated around that to come up with direction and come up with innovation, basically, which is what you need if you are fighting in said war. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer about it. I just think that I think if you're trying to convey urgency about technology, you need to have something very clear that people can wrap their heads around with it. And I don't think that's if the powers that be, the Googles of the world and the Intels of the world, you have to think more about, it has to be something that feels a little something more in the marketplace. It has to be something a little bit more to the gut if you want people to kind of pick up. That's just my 2 cents.
I would say an equivalent to this would be more about like the arms race when it comes to like operating systems. We have Microsoft, we have Linux, we have Apple, and that's used worldwide. And so US holds the market when it comes to operating systems. And I kind of see that as an equivalent. And so we have these companies racing to become the AI leader, and whoever comes out on top, that country is then going to greatly benefit from it, because inevitably people gravitate towards one option. It's like we had message boards all over the place when it came to the internet, and now it's Reddit. So I believe that's what companies are looking for. They inevitably know that, yes, we have hundreds of AI options out there right now, but inevitably one company or 2 companies or 3 companies are going to come out on top, and they want to be that. They want their country to be that. So yes, the US is going to be investing in that, because inevitably one's going to come out on top, and you want your country to be on top, because then if it's China or if it's something, then there's that fear of security or something like that. All that information is going to another country. That's kind of how I see it. And then of course, companies want to be the one on top because they want to be the one making money. Oh, that's how I see it.
Yeah, I kind of, because if you look at what's going on right now with, let's say, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google, right? Let's make them China, US, and somebody else. Every time one comes out, the next one's sitting in the background trying to one up. I don't know if there's like a winner take all kind of thing for AI. I don't know, or how do you win in this game? I don't know. It's kind of weird.
How do you win?
I think there's going to be
innovation game, John. Who
You say
wins?
what?
Who wins the innovation game? What are the characteristics of an organization of any kind? Like, what attributes do they have to win?
It's rock, paper, scissors.
You think it is?
I do feel like if you look, man, because I'd be following certain things like rabbit hole stuff, but like what's going on with robotics, and we have talked about the dark, warehouses in China. What they're doing with the robot thing is like, it's crazy. I mean, we're talking about AI, yeah, but having it inside of bots, I think they're winning on that level right now. I don't know what we're doing. I know we've got some stuff that's coming up, but it doesn't seem like it's ready. Right. It doesn't seem like it's online and ready to go.
I'm in the heartland of manufacturing, people, and I can tell you. And
I'm gonna have to send you guys some links to stuff that is actually going on with robotics, with companies teaming up, American companies teaming up to put agentic AI into robots. Might not be as far along as China, but it's not like there isn't anything going on.
Oh
no,
I'm not saying
that. There's a lot going on.
But if you know what's going on in China, they're like taking orders.
It's mainline.
They're about to deliver.
Yeah, it's mainstream in their everyday life. And I'm going to say something very unpopular.
Oh, good.
I'm going to say something really unpopular. And, based on what I learned from, if we were to treat, we as a country are currently not well positioned to win this thing. We just aren't.
All right, so you got to tell us why you're saying that.
Well, think of it. Imagine if we were a corporation, right? We are corporate. To answer my own question that I asked John, what is a successful corporation? The corporations that are the most profitable, that are their most successful, have a great leadership team, right? That's all on the same page. They have a long-term vision. They're communicating that long-term vision and that mission to their organization. So who talked about Pearl Harbor? I think it was Pierre, right?
Yep.
The mission, vision, and commitment of an entire group of people. This is how we got into space. So the things that made us successful in the past, I do not see them. I do not see the artifacts of that in front of my eyes.
Can I share one I think is?
Oh, I'd love to hear that, because I'm like feeling like,
because when you talk about Pearl Harbor and then you talk about the space mission, that was driven by fear of falling behind your enemy.
Yeah.
So when
okay.
I'm not saying it's a good or a bad. I'm just saying and I think there's a lot of fear in that when it comes to this AI arms race.
But I don't feel the cultural mainstream drive.
I don't think it's cultural. I don't think it's hit the mainstream. I think it's hit the mainstream rich people and the companies that have the most at stake, because that's the biggest difference between what I just talked about with World War II and the space race. Those were galvanizing happenings that hit everybody. AI is not hitting everybody. And AI at that time. Remember, we did a couple of months ago that techno capitalism kind of discussion with Sammy. Sam Altman. I just like calling him Sammy for some reason. I don't know. Sam Altman was basically pinning his tech bros Bill of Rights, like his amendments to the Constitution that were specifically for the tech bros. There ain't that many tech bros, so it's not ever going to be down to the level of like, man, not that I was there. I think, John, maybe you could tell us when that space race really got did you feel it? I mean, people like when it was Yuri Gagarin was the first guy to be shot into space, and he was a Russian dude. That's where this NASA stuff really started. They were afraid of the Russians getting into space and doing whatever the hell they might do before we could. And so that kicked off the series of events that led to Apollo 11. There's no equivalent for regular guys in AI. So I agree with you on that. But these few people have all the resources at their disposal to do whatever they think it takes for them to be on in the winner's circle. And we're the ones that's going to feel all of that.
But to be in the winner's circle, you've got to have it. Hey, John, you've been to China. I have not been to China. I do not know, right? All I know is like what I see, like videos, and I see like people walking the streets of China and showing like, like everyday life, like how they change out their electric car batteries in 5 minutes. You pull into this thing to, like it appears to be mainstream where people are behind it, and tech bros need people to implement their vision. People got to be doing things. You can't have, I don't know, 100 million people like just doing nothing.
I think they give enough of the AI goodies to, like you were talking about with the Gen Z folks. They live off of this stuff. They don't have to pay a lot, but they use it and it becomes their life. And they got a lot of these folks that are around that they are able to kind of leverage that along with the robotics and along with some of the other, the huge amount of money, the huge infrastructure they're deploying, that they can reach so like the whole world with a relative few actual human beings being a part of that.
I don't know that that's a good thing. I don't know.
I don't think it's a good thing at all. That's what seems to be happening.
Like Pierre, I have concerns.
So, I mean, here's the thing, honestly, when it comes to resources, hard resources, China resources versus US resources, game over, man. China is government led. They're building. We're starting to build stuff. They've already built it. They've got all the rare earth materials. They're building in Africa so they get more rare earth material. I'm telling you, man, there's so many things that have to happen to make this big conglomerate run. And I don't see America. We have the technology, but we don't have the resources.
Well, we used to have the resources like human resources from China, but we don't seem to want immigration.
We don't.
anymore.
That's what I'm saying. But no, I mean, I just heard.
I know he's flipping now. He's flipping back and forth.
Well, because he realized. They realize.
Well, the folks that are in his ear realized.
We need that, man. It's kind of crazy.
I think that one thing you're right about what China has that I don't think we'll ever have is government being able to just say, "Yo, you're going to do this," because over here that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Right, and everybody do it. Right. No questions asked. It's like that doesn't happen here.
And even when they did the space program, life was, in general, I'm just overly generalizing, life was very different in the 60s. Right?
Well, we were coming out of the war, and the 50s was the decade of building back and investing, and the middle class was created. You had the infrastructure of this interstate being built out. Times are really good. Picks and shovels are all over the place, and then it was easy to sell people on the importance of going to war with Russia in space.
Right.
I don't think there's anything except what seems to be happening with this Epstein thing that is galvanizing all parts of our people. I don't know what takes other than that kind of situation. What will it take for everybody to say we need to do this and we need to do it now? We're all in.
Aliens.
So basically, Independence Day.
Yeah. Will might be a little too old now to be doing that kind of stuff, but Leland, you look like you were trying to get in there for a minute.
I was.
I thought so. I thought I saw the lights coming on. I thought there's something.
I will say that there's an element. You guys were talking about fear, and while there is, John saying that not as much, there is still some fear with AI taking over jobs. Of course, if you got these dark factories, I mean that's going to displace jobs, and we're at a point where we have the full capability of automating ports, to where you only have a handful of people, and we have tons of ports that are not automated because it's going to take away jobs. And so, and this has been decades that this has been going on. And if we're not going to move past ports being automated, what makes that we're going to take jobs away from like factory workers and stuff like that? We should be moving towards that because, inevitably it's going to happen elsewhere. And train people on being able to maintain those systems and being higher skilled jobs. But I don't know if it'll happen.
We need to think differently about absolutely everything. That's how transformative AI is. And I think if we want to be competitive in something, even rushing to win this AI war, if you want to call it, whatever it is you want to call it, I think that's too much short-term thinking. We need to think longer term than that. And we are so good at that. We are so good at dreaming and thinking big thoughts and innovating that we need to I'm not saying let this go. Back when I was in manufacturing, we had two engineering teams. We had an engineering team that optimized what we had, and we had an engineering team that was thinking big thoughts, creating new tech. And I don't see us doing that. It'd be pretty exciting if we did.
All right, we're a little past the top of the hour, so I guess we better call it a week. So any last thoughts from anyone before we head out?
Don't forget to take out your turkey out of the freezer.
Smart. I just ate mine, so I pass.
If you're bringing mac and cheese to your Thanksgiving gathering, make sure it's excellent. That's
Yeah, you will get talked about if it is.
No raisins in the mac and cheese.
That's an abomination.
Who does that? Do you do that, John?
That can be saved for another time.
Yeah, we don't get us started on that. I mean, geez.
Didn't try it out at the barbecue back in June, July. It's too late. Wait till next year.
Oh, hell no. And on that note, kind of left a little sour taste in my mouth, actually. We definitely hope you all have a great Thanksgiving weekend. Watch a lot of football, eat a lot of food, and you'll be right there with me on the couch doing all that stuff too. So, all right, have a great week. Talk to you. Are we taking off next Friday since it's holiday weekend or what?
Black Friday.
Oh, you want to?
I didn't know if you wanted to redo like what we did last year and just start talking about deals or not.
That's actually pretty cool if you guys are up for it. I mean, that's totally up to you guys.
I'm around.
I think I'm around. I should be around.
Or maybe around. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
We'll let you know if we'll be around.
Yes.
In the meantime, take care. Hopefully, maybe see you next week.
Happy Thanksgiving.